fun to do a kind of in-depth explanation on how I clean all of my animal enclosures. So that is what I'm going to do today. I have 7 enclosures to do, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So first I'm going to do my leopard geckos. Basically all I do is vacuum out their repticarpets and pick out any superworms that they didn't eat. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So first of all, obviously I have to take them out before I do anything with their cage. Little Casper here in this temporary enclosure. Then I need to take out all of their stuff inside, any decor, and set them aside. And then now that the enclosure is empty, I can vacuum out any bowel movements or dead superworms. I also forgot to mention that I did vacuum up any calcium sand as much as I could, or not calcium sand, calcium powder as much as I could. So next I'm going to lift up the repticarpet, and as you can see there's a bunch of superworms that have gone uneaten and they're still alive. So I'm just going to pick those out and put them back in my superworm bucket. And there you have it, a nice clean leopard gecko cage. So now I'm going to do the same exact thing as I did with Casper's cage with June's cage. And here is another nice clean leopard gecko enclosure. And so for my next enclosure is my Emerald Swift, Juby. So first of all I have to find him to get him out so that I can clean his cage. So here he is, nice, safe, and sound in the temporary enclosure, so I can go ahead and clean his cage. So first of all, before I do anything, obviously I have to take out any decor that is in the enclosure. Okay, next step, I just need to vacuum out any bowel movements or dead superworms. Okay, now that I have done that, I'm going to go ahead and take out the repticarpet and pick out any alive superworms. And now I can go ahead and put the carpet back in and put the decor back in. So as I'm putting the decor back in, I just wanted to talk to you guys about how I set this up. I tend to get the longer sticks and I put them like midway up the cage because Emerald Swifts are climbers, so they like to climb up the tank and escape. So I don't let them go too high. But this is a good cage for him because it's big, so he has enough space to explore. But it's bad as well because he doesn't get to climb up as high as he would like to. Okay, now that I finished decorating, all I have to do is fill up his water bowl. And I give him a fairly large water bowl just in case he feels like going for a swim if he's not getting enough humidity. And there you have it, a fresh, clean Emerald Swift enclosure. So next up I have my Chinese water dragon enclosure, and he's pretty simple. All I have to do is empty out his water bucket and replace it with water. But this does take a little bit of time because he needs a filtered water. I recommend it with reptiles. So I put it in a pitcher, and the pitcher just takes a little bit time to fill up. So I tend to have to fill up the pitcher 3 or 4 times to fill up the tub enough to where he can swim in it. So I just empty it out into the toilet so it doesn't clog the sink. And then I give the tub a good rinse in the sink to get all that excess off. So this is the part that takes a little while because I have to fill this up multiple times so that this fills up, and then I can put it into the tub. And 4 pitchers full later, his tub is full enough for him to swim in. So next up is my hedgehog cages. So first, I need to move all bowls and decor. And I typically just let him have his hide so that he has someplace to hide while I'm messing around in his cage. And it doesn't usually get in the way. So I typically put the trash can in the cage so that's a little bit easier to pick up and now that all the old bedding is out, now that I can put the new. And the bedding that I use is Carefresh Custom because it is mostly clumpy and it doesn't have a bunch of dust, which is perfect for hedgehogs. And then obviously I do the same exact thing with my other hedgehog. And here are two very clean hedgehog cages. So the last enclosure I have to do today is my axolotl, and I do apologize for the lighting. Axolotls like it dark and cold, so that's how she's going to be today when I'm doing her enclosure. But I'm not going to do an entire water replacement today because she doesn't need it yet. But I will be doing a scrub down of all the excess algae and gunk around the cage. So I will be using this rough sponge as well as this mag float, which is a magnet that goes on either side of the glass, and one side is rough and one side is smooth, and that will help me clean the cage. So how this works is I just move it around the glass. And then if the rough side's not working, then I switch over to the smooth. And then also in the cracks and edges, it's hard to get with that thing, so I just use the sponge. Okay, now that I moved around some of the algae that was on the screen of the glass, I'm going to go ahead and start the filter so that it can kind of filter through all that algae. And soon her cage will be super clean once that filters through all that scum that I kicked out. So I will do a whole video on how I clean, replace the water and clean my axolotl enclosure, but that will be a couple weeks down the road once she is ready for a water replacement, and I will explain everything how to do that. But I hope this was kind of helpful for you guys to learn how to clean some of these enclosures, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.